Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking. If you saw last week's video, you may have an idea of what I'm up to today. We are out here on the Deschutes River Trail, trying an ultralight but comfortable gear loadout. Should be a fairly short trip. Probably 3 to 4 miles to camp, depending on which sites are taken. We're going so ultralight on this trip. I forgot my trekking poles. Normally not a big deal, except for I have a trekking pole tarp that requires one. Thankfully, the little town of Wasco in Oregon has a true value. So just to be safe, I grabbed a 4-foot dowel for use with dealing with potentially snakes in the bush, and for setting up my tarp tonight since there is a chance of rain. Total bag weight today, as I headed on trail, that includes the camera, my phone, everything in my fanny pack, 10.1 pounds. Pretty proud of that. I added a fair bit of gear: the Crocs, the stove, the sleeping pad, the water bag, but I took out some stuff. So I don't have my puffy. Those are in the high 50s. I do have all my rain gear, so I can bundle up in that if I need to. And I also only have 1 bottle of water because I'm basically riverside access and all there along the way. So I'm gonna head out on trail here. Pack feels good. I think there's like a group of scouts or something at the campground here. Probably see them on trail tomorrow. Saw some gigantic packs, some incredibly heavy looking foam rolls strapped to the outside, even some boots dangling from some. So I was definitely getting some looks from some folks as I was walking by with this teeny tiny little pack. Probably just assumed I was day hiking or something. So see if I find any of them on trail tomorrow morning on my way out. But yeah, we're about to hit the Blackberry Trail, so I'm not going to go up on the road like I normally do, the kind of gravel path. So it's a little more roller coastery, but it means I will come across some campsites sooner. So I will see you guys on trail. Right now it's about 80 degrees out here around 5:30 on a Friday afternoon. Just got off work out in the area, so came on out. A little exposed, but there's a lot of cloud cover, and there is more shade on this river trail. I'm not sure I've ever hiked in on this trail, but I have hiked out on it once or twice when our normal go-to camping spot that kind of had a privy near it was taken, and we hiked back downstream to some riverside spots. Pretty nice day out here. Already a little hot and sweaty due to those temps, but should make for a good night's sleep. Wanted to cowboy camp again, but with that chance of rain, I think I am just going to pitch the tarp and crawl underneath it. Hopefully finding a spot's not too hard. Didn't see many cars at the trailhead per se. Looked like there's that big group of scouts or something. So I doubt many of them are out here yet, but they'll probably be coming tomorrow morning. Although they'll probably be up on the road trail up there. So I think they have kind of a dedicated site a little further upriver from where I'll be camping tonight. There is a fire ban in effect, and the rules said no uncontrolled flame, so the alcohol stove stayed behind. I've got my little BRS stove with me for making some dinner and breakfast. And yeah, hopefully we don't get rained on, especially on the hike in, just because it's so warm. That rain gear would probably make me sweat out, and I don't have a change of clothes, but I do have a 20 degree sleeping bag and everything to help keep me warm should it come down to it. Anyway, so far trail's been pretty cruisy. I think it's been dry out here for a while. I know in the past I've hiked it, it's kind of muddy, and I think there's even a little boardwalk section where part of Perry Springs comes down. So anyway, I'm gonna keep on keeping on, and I will see you out here on trail soon. I think I see a little rattle on that guy. Hopefully we can convince him to move on a bit, so I don't have to try and get into the bushes too much, but we'll keep our eyes on him, just so we know where he's at. Kind of a little guy. From what I hear, they can be more dangerous, so we'll try and coax him into the bush a little bit and clear the trail. Keep on going, little guy. Yep, definitely a little rattle on that tail. Not using it, trying not to seem threatening. I just want him to keep on moving. Give him plenty of time. It is kind of tight down on this path. That is a downside to not being up on the upper one. And also why I like having a trekking pole or a stick or something to, you know, potentially be between me and anything angry at me. He's still making his way up there. Done. Give him a moment just to be a little extra cautious. Take off the bag. Much easier to do when it only weighs 10 pounds. And we will try to keep less between us and wherever he is. Yep, I still see him there. Yep, no need to be scared, buddy. Alright, we made it by that little guy. Not my first encounter on this trail, definitely something you want to be mindful of. Thankfully never had one super angry at me. Apparently I walked over one once, didn't know it was there. My friend saw it for me. And on our return back out of that little spot, we were just going down to like check out the view. Like, well, at least it wasn't a rattlesnake. And as we got close to that area, it rattled at me. So, lesson learned. Just gave him some time, stomped around a little bit, didn't have to, you know, toss any twigs or anything. Never got a rattle, never, you know, looked like he was wanting to strike at me or anything, and put my bag between the snake and I to get by. So hopefully that's our only one on trail today, especially with a bunch of Boy Scouts and stuff out here potentially tomorrow. Want everybody to stay safe. So we will keep on keeping on. We're probably a mile in to start seeing campsites around mile 3, and hopefully we can get a nice one right along the riverbank here. So I will see you here on the trail. In case you're wondering why they call this the Blackberry Trail, I think we're kind of figuring it out here. So I just passed the okay to camp from here upriver sign. We're still up on this rocky outcropping, so no campground in sight yet, but I bet you within a mile we'll hopefully find something good that isn't taken. So I'm going to continue with this rocky trail. Be willing to bet tomorrow I will probably hike up to the River View Trail for getting out of here. It's just been tough with all the blackberry bushes and the rock crossings of the few little water places. So yeah, I think I might take the easy way out tomorrow, and gives me a better chance of running into all the kids with their gigantic backpacks. So we will keep on keeping on. So made it to camp, passed one other pretty viable option, but this one looked the best. Nice river access here. Brought my Crocs, so getting calf deep in here won't be quite as painful as it was on the John Day. I've got a nice little bench over here to relax on, and then right up from that is a flat enough spot to pitch my tarp. I think I've got just enough room here. I'll kind of kick it around a little bit to lay mostly flat. So now let's get camp set up. So I got the tarp set up pretty darn low, unfortunately. That's just how high the stick was that I bought at Ace Hardware, so lesson learned. Skies are looking kind of dark, so there's a chance I need it. It is kind of windy, so I'm waiting to actually blow up my air pad and get sleep stuff going. So first I'm gonna do a quick tick check, since although that rattlesnake was probably the scariest thing I'll encounter out here, the deadliest is probably the ticks. So did a lot of bushwhacking, walking through tall grass, so I'm gonna do a quick check for ticks, throw on my Crocs, get some water, and then we will get some dinner going. And while that rehydrates, maybe then I will set up camp. So just got the camp set up, got my air mattress inflated, and my quilt out the loft up a little bit, although I've got a giant rock on it to keep it from hopefully blowing away. Figured I'd give you a quick tour of camp here before I head into bed. Found this sweet little soaking pool, wave pool action. Enjoyed a nice cigar in there and a bottle of Johnny Walker Double Black. Thank you to the mother-in-law for getting that for me for Christmas. Very delicious. I'll have to pick up a full bottle. Love the amount of smoke on that. Over here is some pretty good water access. If I want to try and fill up my bottle without getting my feet wet, that's where I can do it. But full comfort. We've got the Crocs on, the knockoff Crocs, which make getting in and out of the water where it's really rocky nice and easy. Very glad I brought them. Over here at the bench, I've got my food bag just clipped into a tree to keep the critters out. My Canuck Vecto is full there. And then right up this little hill is camp. So I'm going to take my fake Crocs off long enough to get my feet dried out, and then crawl onto the pad. It's probably still in the 60s, so probably be laying on top for a little while before I crawl into it. But I will see you here in the tent shortly. Well, I made it into bed. Got my Murmur all stuffed with all my extra gear, Crocs, hat, rain gear, all that, to give me a little pillow, including that tiny little pillow I get from Lightsmith. A little worried about the how low the tarp is. It's kind of landed on my head there all night. So I might try to slide down a little more toward the middle here. Hopefully won't even need it and there will be no rain. But not willing to risk it. Don't want to wake up soaked and cold and everything. Got to hike out in the middle of the night, especially since I would only have the light on my phone to do so. So anyway, it's about 8:30. I am turning in. Probably put in some headphones, turn on a podcast, block out the wind noise, and hopefully I will see you guys here in the morning. Cheers. Hello, hello. Good morning. A little after 6 a.m. You can probably hear the natural alarm clock going off out there. Slept okay. I think my pad lost some air. Couldn't tell if it was just because of the cold or not. Not enough to bother getting off and refilling or anything. And I do have the foam pad underneath for a little extra. Took a little bit to fall asleep last night just because it was so hot. I slept on top of my quilt until about midnight, and I finally kind of got my feet in there and then around 1 a.m. kind of pulled it up over me a little bit more. So I'm gonna start packing up my bed and everything in here, and then we will head down to the little bench to make some breakfast, get some coffee and stuff going. So I will see you out there. So, just finished up breakfast. Beautiful morning here. Cool enough to give a little bit of a chill, but not enough to put on the rain gear to stay warm, which has been nice. Camp is all broken down there, and I believe there's a little trail that kind of leads up this hillside, and it looks like it connects up way up there. I just don't want to deal with all the blackberries, snakes, scratched up legs, ticks, that kind of stuff. Still check for ticks when I get back to the trailhead. But maybe I'll run into some scouts and we can talk about why you don't need 100 pounds on your back. Have a good time out here, or at least they can see the option exists. So anyway, been a beautiful morning here, probably around 7 o'clock. So we are gonna head for the trail now. I'll see you out there. So starting up this ridge, you can get a better view of camp. Right over there is where I pitched my tent. Then I had that little soaking wave pool, which is kind of nice. And then right in that little tree area there is where the bench was. So a nice little camp. Rapids weren't too loud. Bugs were a little noisy. But yeah, not a bad spot. I may come back here in the future. First time I've ever stayed there. Made it up to the Riverview Trail, the old railroad bed. So should have a couple miles of fairly cruisy, hopefully uneventful and snake-free miles back to the truck. I'll see you out there. So off in the distance there is the state park where the vehicle is. So probably just over a mile or so. Before that we'll drop down into the kind of the field there. But we are in the home stretch. So one of the perks to getting up early due to that kind of poor night's sleep is, for the most part, the sun has not come over the east side of this canyon yet. So you can probably hear it's kind of windy, but it's keeping the temps nice and cool. My back is still sweaty, just having that pad up against there is gonna do that to you. But so far it has been a pretty easy and cruisy walk out. We're almost to the drop down into the little field there that leads to the state park. So I will see you when we reach that little drop down. Well, we made it back to the trail split. Just have the little field to go yet. I'd say it was a successful trip, although kind of a poor night's sleep compared to just the pad, which surprised me. I did get a small tear in my tarp from trying to keep it from flapping too much with a rock, so I'll put some Dyneema tape on that when I get back home. But overall, a successful trip. My food bag is empty, which is a good thing. This is a trail I'm pretty familiar with. Pretty short distance, probably 6 miles round trip. But yeah, having less than 10 pounds or around 10 pounds on my back definitely made it more comfortable, made the heat a little more bearable, and overall it was a good time. Found a new campsite with some river access I really like, so probably a place I'll be back to. So with that, I will sign off by saying I hope the miles you hike are filled with wonder and the glasses you raised are filled with whiskey. For more information on this trail, visit topshelfbackpacking.com, and until I see you again, cheers.